was to look at our athletic expenditures and revenues, with the target of trying to figure out where we can be more efficient in the budget, and where we can, potentially save money, because we are in a deficit. Maybe Tom, you can talk a little bit about where we are with our deficit right now in athletics, as you have articulated in the school committee meeting.
Yeah. So at the end of the past fiscal year, what we had in our operating budget and what we took in revenue, mainly athletic fees and gate receipts, came about $170,000 short. So we had to journal entry a bunch of things over into the operating budget. So it's obviously not. That's something we want to try to correct moving forward, and that's where we began to look at not only a fee structure, but also the expenditures and what we can do there as well. So on today, I did a lot of work on revenue. So this is that spreadsheet that we've had. Drew Dargan, class of 24, provided a lot of this information, working with me this summer, and what we did not have on here were the athletic fees and gate receipts. So what I came up with today is a pretty comprehensive document. Back to the drive. So this is going to be good going forward for any type of anything we want to do with our fee structure as well. So what I did is I took Lauren provided me all the information for the last school year.
So this is televised. I shouldn't have student names.
No, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Shouldn't have student names if it's televised.
Okay.
We can see it. Well, no, we can see it on our screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just direct us.
Student.
Well,
It's just a list of who's played sports and how many sports they played.
Okay.
Those rosters are published.
They're published.
The rosters are published.
Okay.
Rosters are
All right,
published.
that's good.
Like literally, so I mean, just so everybody here knows
Okay.
that if a student has a 300, that means they participated in. Nope, that is nothing. That's all hidden.
Okay.
If a student plays one sport, they have $300 allocated to them for that sport. If they play two sports, they have $150 allocated.
Okay.
And if they play three sports, they have $100 allocated. So that's how we derived. So these are all the students broken out, boys, girls, and so that's all this is. The waivers are indistinguishable. It's hidden below in the screen. Nobody can see it. You guys can't even see it. And it just comes off the top total. So we don't really have to look at names, but what this did was give us an idea of how much fee revenue would be allocated to each sport. And it's all driven by, now I gotta scroll back up here, it's all driven by these cells. So if we really wanted to play around on 3 sport athlete cost, 2 sport athlete cost, we can simply change those cells and come up with our total and get a delta on what we would be doing. And that's something we're talking for next school year, so it's not immediate, but and I didn't get a chance. I mean, there's a total going across.
Okay, so that will come in handy when we talk about number 2, athletic fee tiering. But we want to look at the.
Well, yeah. So that's why I started. I started on the expenses here. So
Right.
that was something new here, and then we also did look at gate receipts in detail. We were able to derive all the gate receipts for the year. It gets a little tricky.
This is confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean it gets a little tricky. I mean this is obviously wrestling, the tournament.
Yeah.
This is so that's it's gate fees. It's kind of it's not necessarily gate, but it's the charge for the wrestling tournament. You can see football, and this is where as we've discussed, football does bring in a significant amount of revenue, $32,800 there. and then small amounts in the other sports. Yeah, girls, boys basketball. I assume those are double headers or maybe not. I'm not
No,
completely
a
positive.
lot of times when GoFan sends us the check,
It just says girls,
it,
boys
it says
basketball.
girls and boys basketball
Yeah.
because it.
It's not distinguished.
It
For
is.
like the
Yeah.
week. So
Yeah.
if there's multiple games,
Yeah.
you'll get it as a lump sum.
So
how
just
do you
for these
set that?
purposes, I mean, again, this is all. I mean, this is all just kind of it's an exercise, so it doesn't have to be 100% correct for everything. It's just giving us an idea of what we're spending, what we're taking in per sport. So what I did, I just split this between girls and boys basketball. There were a couple here that were strictly to boys basketball coming out of GoFan. And then there was one girls hockey, which I think is the hockey tournament. We must have received some.
We received a
Yeah,
check from the
for
MIA,
that. Yeah.
1,400.
So that's really all the gate receipts. So you can see, I mean, the vast majority of our gate receipts is football.
What's up the very top?
What's that?
What's up the very top? What's on row?
Girls hockey.
Row one is still girls hockey. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
we don't
don't-
receive the rink takes the
Yeah, the bog,
gate.
the
Yeah.
bog mark, they get the gate.
But then the postseason, it technically is on GoFan, so they give us a chunk of that
After the first round.
after the
One thing that, I mean, this is good because it gives us a sense of what we can anticipate for gate receipts this year.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we looked at it over
Well,
several years.
We have
but-
one less football game, home football game this year, and it could be
Okay.
even two, depending on what we do for the playoffs.
But we're not,
Thanksgivings.
but this will be pretty stable.
Yeah, it's
probably.
relatively stable. I mean,
Yeah, oh
it
yeah,
comes and
yeah, oh
goes.
yeah, yeah.
So like Thanksgiving, we split with Duxbury,
Yeah.
no matter where it
Do it
is. So
together.
that keeps that stability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the
Um,
total?
Yeah, it's at Duxbury this year's.
It is, yes.
32 for football, 32,
Just
826.
32,826. So what?
So 42. Okay.
So that gave us, but see, so now when we talk about expenses, though, if you do take a look at this, and we still, we got to talk a little bit about uniforms because we need to hit something on that line, and then we also we can't really distinguish on custodial time. Is that
Yeah, I don't know.
that would be really
Yeah.
digging deep.
That's
So I
fine.
mean that's
Yeah.
Now, help me with this one because my understanding is custodial if they if they do work for an athletic event or practice comes from.
gets charged to athletics.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are these roster sizes last 24-25 or 25-26?
24-25.
Okay.
Last year.
And they were updated a little bit based upon what you sent over, so there were some changes. Football looked a little.
So I thought it was at 134.
It was 1/3. Would 112 be correct?
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah.
I thought it was
So,
I mean,
134
it's-
was what we were
Tom-
operating
I
on.
took that straight from here, and I don't know if we lost anything, but it's 112 right to here. So we may want to just verify that.
Yeah.
So Tom, our goal is to really look at, and this agenda item is to look at expenses.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah.
Are all of our are there any other expenses that aren't counted for there, or is that
These are
linear
direct attributable expenses to the sport.
to the sport?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I think
So it doesn't include overhead. It doesn't include. I mean, it doesn't include Billy and Lauren. It doesn't
Right.
include.
does it include money that is given from the boosters or from
Not particularly.
No.
No. And
No.
that's the piece of the equation that we really got to dig a little bit deeper on, because
Yeah, right now these are our expenses.
These
But
are
it's not,
that's what I want
it's
to make
not
sure.
all of the expense of the sport,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? Like, so there are boosters and
I
parents
am.
that are covering other costs of the
Yeah.
sport.
Because what I'm going for, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what I'm going for is to try to kind of redline where we're really spending an excessive amount of money to try to figure out if we can cut that down in those areas. So like that's sort of my next question is, I mean, I haven't looked at this
yeah.
thoroughly, and Lauren
So-
and Billy live it, and you live it. So, are there areas that jump out as really like, look, we're spending a lot of money here? Because I think what our goal is, if we're going to go forward and try to advertise a fee structure or any change in fees or any change in tiers, we have to be able to say to the public that we've looked at everything, and we should, right?
Yep.
To see if there's areas we can reduce. So are there areas that jump out when we look at the expenditures as, wow, we're spending a lot there, and maybe we can work on tweaking that down, if that's the case?
I mean, just from the spreadsheet, I did run a remaining balance on the bottom. So, what we didn't have this in this document before, we had, pretty excessive football expenditures, and we can just look at that. But that was always partially offset by gate receipts.
Right.
So, but in the end here, you can see, and this is where we got to talk. Like, I grade those two lines because this uniform total, if we're going to look at apples to apples, it's a 4-year cycle.
Correct.
So that would be this should really be divided by 4. So in that, but even
But all of them should be. All of
yeah,
them
yeah,
should
yeah,
be
of course,
recycled.
and that's why it's graded because it's not
Yeah.
complete yet. And I do have Billy did send the uniform. I just want to we got to kind of talk about it just to make sure we're again going apples to apples across
Okay,
across
yeah.
the way. Again, this is an exercise. It's just, I mean, we want to get it as as realistic as possible, but it's going to give us a rough idea on where our deficits are across the board.
So uniforms aren't divided by 4 because that's a real expense on the list.
It's a
Yeah,
cycle.
but it's
It is.
They
But-
only
We're doing a per athlete expense.
yeah. So
Why are we doing that?
give me one
Well,
second.
uniforms have a cycle, I believe, right?
We do a 4-year cycle.
4-year cycle?
And the varsity ones then go down to the sub-varsity.
Yeah.
So then they're,
No,
it's
oh, I
still in the
understand.
system.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
that.
so-
I'm just saying for the math,
Oh.
because it's a real expense. You can't
Well,
divide
we-
by 4 and then all of a sudden you still have a deficit that first year.
Right.
Every 4 years. you have a
Yeah,
deficit.
but
Well, they're staggered, right?
it's more. It's kind of like a depreciation.
Well, why don't we just focus on
Yeah,
expense by
eventually we
expense,
will. Yeah.
right? Instead of throwing darts all over the place, just start right at the beginning and look at that whole line.
So we need to incorporate this into that document, and we'll get that process done because it does need to be smoothed out. So like field hockey, like that's a 4-year cycle, and if that's a full set of uniforms, then that should be divided by 4 for an annual to get an annual cost.
Yeah, but I don't know why we're doing that. Like, take a look at coaches, right? We'll take football, first column, right? So B11, coaches, $37,842. How many coaches is that?
6 paid coaches.
6 paid
We got
coaches,
the coaching
three
schedules,
and
too.
3?
Ooh, I don't even like 3 and 3.
Well, you get
6
varsity and
varsity.
JV, freshmen.
So we have,
3
we
head
have-
coaches and then,
3 head coaches and 3 assistants.
so varsity head coach, freshman head coach, JV head coach,
Yeah.
and then varsity also has 3 paid assistants
Okay.
for positions.
Varsity has 3 paid assistants?
But those
Coming out
varsity
of our
paid
budget.
assistants will also, work with the JV and work with the freshmen.
Yeah.
They'll
Well,
be on the
program
sidelines
wide,
on
yeah.
Saturday for freshmen. and
Okay, so that's an
JV.
all-in, all 3 teams, 6 coaches.
Correct.
Okay.
Out of our budget,
Yeah.
Yes.
So what, Tom, can you go back to the,
because there are clearly more coaches than that.
so
Oh,
down-
yeah. Yes.
So go down to transportation. What is transportation for?
That's the transportation. That's
I know-
busing
I
for
know
the
what
year.
transportation is, but what makes up that number?
So that's all their away games.
All
that
teams,
include scrimmages?
freshmen,
Yes.
JV,
That's all the
Yes.
whole
varsity.
program.
Yep. All, the whole program.
How many buses go to each game?
So last year there's 3 for varsity,
Yeah.
Why?
because there's over,
There's,
How many kids play offense at a time? How many kids play defense at a time? How many kids are on special teams? That could all fit on one bus, right?
So he does play guys one way.
one way.
We always hear this. I hear this from the parents all the time. So 11, and that's 33 right there.
How many fit on a bus? 45?
52?
52. So why are we
Yep.
taking 3 buses?
Because people
He
sub in and
rosters,
out.
yeah.
So there's like 97 kids.
So basically he rosters.
Yeah, the
10th
other night I
through
counted,
12th grade
there was
on varsity
82.
'cause there's
82.
no set
82
JV
dress.
I thought
roster. So
97.
basically whoever
Yeah.
plays on Friday night, if they don't play, they have a chance to play in the JV game on Saturday. So he kind of rosters everyone based on the score, and then he determines who plays the
Right.
next game. So
But-
he
Just
travels
figure it out, bring the
everyone.
right amount of kids to the
This
game.
year we're only using 2 buses.
But let's say again, I'm just trying to keep us focused on I think we need to pick those areas where transportation must be one of the bigger.
So in my
areas.
6 years,
Yeah,
it's gone through the
it's
roof.
huge.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna agree with
Yeah.
that.
In our new contract, it went up significantly, just like our regular contract. you know, we did purchase the 14 passenger. I think that's helped
It
for
has,
some of the smaller sports, but I think also,
golf use it all the
I
time.
mean, yeah, I mean,
Every
golf
day.
golf
Every
has
day.
zero transportation expenses because they use the.
You wouldn't
so
sit on the bus.
in reality, there is expenses there, but
And
it
our,
doesn't-
our
doesn't
deficit
show.
was 170,000.
Yeah,
Right. So I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to look at areas where we could. I mean, Rich's
So yes,
point, although I think we need some more data with that, is actually.
Well, I'm
what-
asking for data, I don't see data there, I see a rolled up number.
But we can dig into that.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So
No, I
do
know.
we first want Billy and Lauren to identify what the biggest expenditures are?
That's what I'm
And then
thinking.
dig into those.
Yeah, and then dig
Okay.
into those. So I
So-
think let's just. That's a question that we need to look at
Yep.
to try to reduce.
We can
that.
definitely break that down by bus, for football.
Which do you feel are the biggest expenses for the department?
Transportation's huge,
Okay.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you,
Officials.
I was just going over with Lauren too. I mean, the sheets of ice, have, you know,
Ice
just,
on.
Yeah.
it's just, it is what it is. I think I
So,
count up roughly, it's,
66.
It's 170,000, that's our deficit right there.
there's in the transportation.
So
And in my
but
first year, I think the transportation was probably less than half that. I think it was 86,000.
the tough facts are that if we're 170,000 in deficit, that money's going to come from someplace,
Right.
and it would probably come from our
I mean,
athletics,
I mean,
right? But we can't. I don't think we can go
Hockey
in front
ice.
and ask for fees until we
85,000.
have a handle on that. Really.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm going, I wanna dig
Yeah.
into all these expenses, right, so, and I'm only picking on football because it was the first one listed, right,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm not targeting
It's a
football.
huge expense. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
denying it.
it's a big team.
Football,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a huge expense.
Yeah, but I mean, we could pick any one of these, but I think football, hockey, those things
Right.
kinda jump
Jump
up,
in,
right?
yeah,
So-
I mean, the bottom line here, just total expense. That's the total expenditures directly attributed to those teams. And you can see the football is 120,
Yeah.
124.
Can we go, can we have totals for the rows?
Yeah, I do it on the other side of it. It's too
Yeah,
big.
so that's part of what we're looking
Yeah.
at, right? What are the biggest
Tom, could you,
expenditures?
and then,
So coaches, I mean, it's
Well,
it's
and-
not that complicated when you really think about it.
The other thing
It's
is
coaches, it's busing,
right.
it's
Right.
referees,
Well,
70,000.
Yeah, referees, yep.
You can put ice as its own separate. It's
Well,
85 grand.
Does the rentals include the gymnastics?
Yes. Yeah, there's.
what are we paying per hour for ice, like 320, 340?
The other thing we can look at
415,
are
you
expenses
said?
that
Oh,
aren't
415,
really, that are
415.
kind of
For
superfluous.
50 minutes.
I went to nice.
Did anybody hear
I
that?
know, I remember you were
It's
saying
10 o'clock
that.
at night, Rich.
So,
I'm paying 260 an
It's
hour.
10 o'clock at night.
415.
So the other thing we can dive into is we can look at any superfluous
Roughly 50 minutes.
expenditures, and what I mean by that is like things that we like having, but we may not need to have. Like huddle, for instance, comes to mind. Like I mean, I don't know how essential something like that is, or
What is it?
That's for the coaches.
What is
Yeah.
that?
It's become pretty
We have a huddle
essential,
camera.
just because everyone uses it now.
I know,
Yeah,
I
But
know,
you're
but-
right, yeah.
So there's a league rule that coaches in basketball and soccer have to drop their game films in within 24 hours.
Okay, so that might not be, that might not be so extra.
Okay,
then.
so what we're, if we look at the biggest expenditures here, it's coaches, transportation, rentals, and uniforms, even though they're on a 4-year cycle, it's
Yeah.
still,
Still, it's
it's
probably in
Last
that
year
range
was
per
a big
year.
one.
Referees-
That's a big year because you had football in that year.
Yeah, that's what it
yeah,
was.
and referees we can't do much about.
Yeah, referees are referees.
So the ones that are, I guess, readily accessible right now would be transportation.
Mhm.
So we have looked at that this year, and that's why we did, cut down football to one bus. The roster is a little smaller this year, 2 buses on varsity night, so they're squeezing in.
And how much does that actually save us to do that?
Yeah,
I mean, it depends on where the game is,
Yeah.
really,
I know.
because the.
But over a course of a season, I guess, that's what we need to calculate. So you can look
Yeah.
at, I mean, I know there's some different, it's not exactly apples to apples, but you can look at what you spent last year and then calculate what that would be with one less bus, even though obviously we didn't go to Methuen last year, we went to Methuen this year, so.
What's St. John's?
We went to
St.
Danvers
John's,
last year.
so it
yeah.
might even level
Yeah.
out,
I
right?
know, it usually does.
So St. John's, which one, Reading?
Danvers.
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 St. John's Prep.
Well, I was curious too why.
But then we
That's
went
what I
through it
meant,
last.
Why-
But I'm
what-
trying to get an idea from last year's totals, like
Right.
if we cut down, this year we have one less bus, what does that save us? Because we need to figure out, we did chip away at that 170.
Well, I don't know what the cost per bus is. See, that's valuable information, right?
So it sounds like 3 to 2 was an easy fix almost. Like what about
Yeah.
boys basketball?
Still paying, so like that girls basketball, the 1708, that easily could have just been shipping and printing.
How many kids play hockey?
63 on the roster last year.
Okay, so paying $25 a shirt, home or away, right?
They only buy varsity and
We
then
only-
they're handed down.
Yeah, we only bought varsity home uniforms
Yeah,
last year.
boosters.
So 24.
So they bought them. Yeah, it was under 30, I know that.
It's a lot of money. I don't know, let's start
So,
looking at this. I mean, if you
not
look
a-
at the cost for hockey equipment compared to other sports,
Mm-hmm.
right? The parents are buying shin pads, elbow pads,
Oh, yeah.
helmets,
Yep.
cups or whatever. What am I missing? I got elbow
Well,
pads,
not to
gloves.
mention skates and sticks.
Yeah, skates are,
Blades.
And that's
decent skates are
and
$100
that's the question that always comes up, because if you do look at we don't really have to look at the we can look at the fees if we want to across the state, but you know, when the additional hockey fee goes in, what are those schools doing? Are they doing anything more with that additional fee? Are they providing those pads that the parents are buying already? Like, it's at
I
some
think
point we
this-
kind of have to clear the slate and go and come up. So when we first started looking at this, and I kind of moved on it real quickly, I had this scenario and I had the number of students, and it fell down like cost per student, which was per athlete expense down here, and they were just kind of grouped together. But then when you really look at it closer with the data we have, there's more to it than that. And then that's where it kind of that's where we stopped.
Right.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now, because we did, we realized we had to look at the revenue, and it's mainly football, but it's still, as you can see, football's still the largest deficit, because it's the biggest operation, obviously, even with the revenue attributed to it. But football is also, football gets their helmets. Other sports don't get their equipment, and it's like that's where those decisions on if are we actually going to charge a sport more than another sport because of the cost on it, when we're already asking the parents to provide.
Right.
Right.
See,
And
that's the conundrum.
Right.
Yeah.
The trick.
So you can look at other data
Yes.
from other districts,
But
but
it's
we
not
don't know
always-
exactly
not
what's
what they're
happening.
Correct.
So this is a whole tricky endeavor, because there's 1,000 offshoots that we could get into, right? And I think that eventually we will, and when we talk about tiering or whatever, or equity and stuff like that, we're probably going to get into those conversations.
Mhm.
I think today we're trying to figure out where can we start to trim. So
Right.
Yeah.
So that deficit comes down.
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't need to do something like increase fees.
right, or ask more parents to
so
pay
where
more.
does this fit into our overall
So
budget?
transportation.
So, I can pull it up. So right now, I mean,
If you factor
initially, roughly 20 years ago, we paid out of our operating budget were the salaries. So it was athletic director, it was coaches, secretary, like that. That's all that was attributable to our Fund 1 operating budget. And we derived everything else through
Revenues.
fees and gate receipts. And we haven't changed.
So-
And the costs have gone up. So like it's
So Tom, you have coaches in here, that's a stipended position under the teacher's contract.
yes.
So why is that even in this budget?
Well, it has to be. It's attributable to each sport.
But it's overhead, right?
Yeah.
So are we looking at just trimming this budget, or are we compare this to our overall budget?
Well, I mean,
Because if
right
it's the
now
overall, I'd say pull the salaries right out of this.
well, I think the issue is we have $170,000 deficit in athletics. So we're looking at athletics budget.
Yeah, and I think I think I stated in school committee meeting. It could start affecting the classroom, but like it kind of it kind of did this year because we rolled over $30,000 for our whole district in circuit breaker, which we used to roll over 1 to 2 million,
So, yeah.
and we have zero.
That's tight.
It's we have zero, but we had to do a journal entry at the end. It would have been 200 if we were able to do this. Now it's been happening. It's just been slowly increasing, and we've held off on looking at our fee structure because of the model we had.
Right.
Our model, I think everybody agrees the model we had was good, was excellent because it provided a lot of opportunities for participation.
What's
That's-
rentals?
Ice,
Yes,
gym.
Oh, yeah, it's right
gymnastics gym.
Gymnastics, pool,
Yeah,
first
pool.
Yeah, so why don't we have a pool?
the Reggie Lewis Center.
That's
Built
what
right
I said, we've
balance.
seen a rink and a pool
Is
and a
it-
track and we're good.
So that's really, there's really no
Let's
wiggle
bounce that
room
out
with
over 10
those.
years.
Now, we're kind of at the mercy of those places.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to make sure,
What
I
happened with
kinda thought that
gymnastics?
was what it was.
Yeah, what-
Yeah.
I asked you about gymnastics rental. Why wasn't it was? Did we share with somebody or something?
No, swim and dive.
Swimming.
Someone
we
dive
told-
shares. That's why I have that highlighted. But
Right.
why is there nothing there?
There should be something under gymnastics.
So I have gymnastics right here. It's, yeah, I put it up today. It's $5,814.
Okay.
So that's in
It's the Ellis
addition?
School of Gymnastics and South Shore Gymnastics. So the Ellis School of Gymnastics for 23 hours is $4,600. South Shore Gymnastics for 10 hours is $1,214
No,
for a total of $5,814.
Sorry.
That was
Just
only-
explains it's there.
so what about wrestling? There's no
Yeah.
rentals for wrestling?
MCO gym.
Well, we
There
can
are
wrestle
gyms.
at the school.
30, oh,
How
70%.
about cheer?
Why is it not in?
Yeah,
All of it?
they do. No,
Well,
on Mondays
It's
they
like
go.
56 something.
Their
73%.
boosters, I think, pays for choreograph.
Choreography.
Choreography.
No, the
Sorry.
parents,
Yeah.
I just learned that parents are paying that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
The
on
parents
Mondays.
paying that?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what you
it's an
mentioned, the
equipment.
tumbling?
It's an equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$300.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an equipment, so it could have been.
Oh.
This really could go down here.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, there's also all those things that the boosters are picking up too, where
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
plugging in,
And that's a whole other part of this equation.
So
it really is.
So-
you know, just off the top of my head, so hockey, boys hockey, there's a JV league. I shouldn't say that. There's a JV sheet of ice that they will use, that they take, that the boosters pay for the season
Okay.
down at Armstrong. So
Yeah.
Saturday games.
on Saturday at noon,
Hmm.
drives Plymouth crazy.
So what's the total coach's salary? And again, how does this play into our overall budget?
Well, I have all.
Are we showing
that was
170?
part of that's the one thing on the agenda was coaching salaries. That the
Are we showing $170,000 deficit in our
Yeah.
overall?
one second. Oh, okay, that. Yeah. So this is what's scheduled this year. That's all of them. But the contract, it's contractual, and we're coming up in negotiations, so there's going to be a change there, obviously.
Right. That's agenda item 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, the overall budget, are we short on the overall?
Well, I mean, it's shown in the athletics, but yeah, it affects our overall budget.
Yeah, but all of our line items are virtual items.
Well, we did. So we did add $100,000 in our operating budget for transportation. So that in theory that would take that 170 down to 70, and any type of proposed fee increase we would hopefully generate between 50 to 70, and we would be.
So our real
that's where we'd
target
be.
number is 70K, not 170K.
Okay, so let's
That
do
makes
that.
a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Yeah.
So
But
how
again,
do
that came at the expense of
Something else.
some other things in our budget.
Sure.
Like it's
Yeah.
not it's not a great scenario.
But
you know?
what other things?
Well, I mean,
We didn't
We didn't fill
12
positions.
teacher positions.
Do we need?
but through attrition, I mean,
We need them is a tough question.
I mean, it's more of a rhetorical question. That's a whole separate conversation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not-
when faced with budget challenges, we found that reducing them was the best option.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that. I just,
It's hard to say we did.
I just
mean,
want to know what the real number is that we need to target here.
I do
And-
too.
Okay, so let's look at, so we're talking about 70.
Is that accurate, Tom? Is it 70 or is it 170?
Well, no, we did. So we did have 100,000 in transportation, athletic transportation. So, in theory, if this rolls into next year, if we operate, if last year played out the same way, and it might come in even because we wanted the football uniform expense. So hopefully
Right.
it won't be that much.
Well, 70 is a lot easier to handle than 170.
Yeah, yeah.
So what can you go back to the main page and see what's the total for the transportation?
I thought it was 170 something, right?
Yeah, it's
It was
170K. So we're looking at chopping 70K out
Okay.
of stuff.
170, yeah.
Okay. So if when you reduce by one bus,
That's
how
what we need.
much does that save?
That's what we need to know. We need to know.
It's $4.50 a mile, 65 per weight hour, $4.75 minimum.
So we save $500.
So a lot of those, I mean, a lot of the local, like,
It doesn't matter how
Well,
long you have it.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's
Yeah,
wait
there's
time
wait
involved
So
too.
it's,
Weight hour.
Yeah.
You say 450 every mile,
So if-
and then 60.
$4.50 a mile, like going to Duxbury, is like
Yeah.
20 miles. It's
Yeah.
like $90, say. But if you're leaving at 2 or 2:30 and getting back
At 8:30.
8:30,
So that's why it's like it's almost
so
worth
6
sending
hours.
that separate bus
I know.
because you rather pay for them driving rather than sitting there.
6 for 65, so that's 390 plus 9 is 480, so you're right at the minimum. So the minimum is, you know,
Yeah.
a 10 mile, a 20 mile round trip for 6 hours. That's like our minimum.
Right,
So
that's
you're
a baseline.
hitting everything that's close. Everything close is 475 pretty much,
Right.
unless you're there all day.
Okay. And do we transport to non-league competitions?
We do.
Like scrimmages, I mean, things like that.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb has always been we just pay for one scrimmage.
Bus.
Some teams play 4 scrimmages, but they have to do it through their boosters.
Okay. And what about like the holiday tournament or whatever that you mentioned? Like, is that a league?
We do because that's a regular season game, so
Yeah, it's part of
we
their-
do pay
Oh,
for
it's
the regular
regular
season.
season.
What are they
Yeah,
hosting?
just a non-league game.
Well, we do host a
Yeah.
lot.
We usually alternate.
Yeah, usually that's part of the deal. Is
So I think we do
Yeah.
a deep dive into transportation, see
'cause if you don't
see
host,
what
then
we
you
can
don't pay for
trim.
officials.
Because that seems to be,
Yeah.
So
although-
we're trying to rotate through.
that minimum thing didn't inspire me. It sounded like,
No, it's 470 no matter what. So
Yeah.
even if it's
Oh, it is.
even if you say drop off only, you're still paying 475.
I have to pay for a driver on top of that, or is
Yes,
that
it's-
included?
That's included.
So that's
Oh,
included.
it is.
This is Drew's. This
There's
is
no,
Drew's
like wrestling
like
quad, for
quick
instance.
calculations,
Adding up
click
It's a
in,
long
put
day.
add and everything
So like
from
a wrestling
because
quad, you'd go there because
it's
they
all-
have
it's
at
all
least
the- it's
four
all the notes.
matches
Are these bus
that
trips?
day.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you go there at
It's all
8
denoted
a.m.
right
and
here.
you don't leave
So
till
you can
Okay.
see
yeah.
you can see
So
like
they drive wherever
It's
they're
probably
going, and then you pay
very
a
little time to
60
go.
whatever
That was one
an
trip?
hour charge on top of that.
so the other thing is, one thing no one wants to do
It could've been one
is,
bill.
it's a conversation, is do we have,
Oh yeah,
you know,
these pieces together.
we want to give everybody opportunity, so this is a bad idea, but we're just putting all ideas.
Yeah.
Like freshman teams, we
Some
have,
varsity.
I know no one likes that idea, but like,
Especially with our enrollment going down. I mean, you're gonna start. I think it's gonna be tough to start.
how much does
Pretty
it,
soon, it's gonna be tough to start fielding all those teams.
like, can you tell me
We've already seen a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
how
you're right.
many, I mean, because obviously we have, if we have a freshman team, we have a JV team.
Correct.
So how many freshman teams do we have?
You know, and again, I can get that. That's very easy to get. Very rarely do we have programs that don't have freshman teams. I can think off the top of my head. So softball, for instance, doesn't have a freshman team. Girls hockey doesn't have a freshman team. But the majority of our programs, both basketball, girls basketball,
Field hockey?
field hockey doesn't have one.
And it's
Oh,
hard
I'm
to-
sorry, take that back. Field
Oh, they
hockey
do
has
have
one.
It's
Yeah.
hard to imagine not having a freshman team, but if we're faced with like either raising fees, we don't want to do that, and we want
Right.
to try to look at trimming stuff, that does have to be part of a conversation. It's a difficult one.
And I think
But
that's-
what's interesting though, so
But I don't know how much money that would.
yeah, and
I
that's
know.
that's the
Yeah,
question
why not?
because
They're
they're
sharing
paying.
buses, Right.
You're right.
And one of the one of the real things that popped up when I spent a lot of time doing this today was girls primarily. I mean, this correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just from doing this. A lot of them play one sport.
The girls are
There's
really
very few
specialized in that.
3-sport girls, except for the
There
girls
is.
that run.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so many of them are 300, and then the boys it's completely opposite.
Yeah.
So,
No,
I mean,
100%.
all those 300s up there, I mean, you can just quickly look and you see all those 300s. The boys, there's very few 300, and it's mainly kind of specific sports.
Yeah.
And that's why,
Well,
that's why
almost all
some,
football does track.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of two
yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
Two sports is really common now, but yeah,
It is.
we always said like we don't have three sport athletes
Hockey,
anymore
lacrosse,
unless they're
yeah.
runners and they run
Right.
three.
They're running, yeah.
and like, that's where it's
Seasons,
funny
yeah.
because
Yeah.
like, you know,
So track
not to
and
pick
field
on like
is-
rugby, but I think rugby boys, it was a, you know, there's,
So now, that's
Some
one
would-
place where we're seeing a drop in
Drop.
numbers
Yeah.
because, our enrollment's declining and
Yeah.
it seems like it's hit certain sports more. Rugby is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's things we can do differently about that as well too, to attract more, and that's something we're discussing. Be it, you know,
But I
a
think
Well, you
JV.
hit
but when you
my
think about it, like,
Yeah, I
so,
know
I mean,
exactly. I know.
just, I mean, I just, if you think about like the
I think
fall,
we've slid to
fall,
number two.
like fall with the girls, there's,
Yeah.
how many sports are there? There's like 7
There's
or 8,
nine.
and then
Soccer,
there's
field hockey.
there's also, I mean, there's cheer, there's like
Yeah.
he said girls
Um,
sports, 9 total sports.
Oh, 9 total sports, yes.
for
For
girls.
fall.
No,
Yeah.
well,
Oh, no,
girls,
I'm
girls,
sorry.
yeah, girls
I mean, I had it up
cross-country,
here.
Yeah.
Girls
Yeah.
soccer, field hockey, volleyball. There's more girls
Cheer.
cheer.
There is in the
Yeah,
fall.
they're all here. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all here. And I mean, when you have that many sports and our class size or grade sizes are going to be, I mean, they're going to end up being like there's going to be like 110 girls to go for all those sports. Like it's
What?
freshman teams
You
don't
mean out of all 4 years of high school?
Freshman sports.
Oh,
like
freshman.
I'm saying freshman sports.
Oh.
If you and obviously not everybody's
So
plays
I'm
it.
saying we might not be
There's
able
other
to field
activities,
some
too.
teams just because of this.
It's
Right,
just
well, that
not
happened
gonna-
with boys soccer, didn't it? A couple years ago, like they didn't have a freshman team because there weren't enough kids. Right?
But I don't know how much of, again, they're paying, so I don't know how much of a savings it is.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
That's
that's
Right,
because
you're
Yeah.
still getting money from.
I mean we quote unquote lose money on every sport. I mean, there's no sport making money off of $300 a student.
No.
Completely. I mean,
Yeah.
No.
our average cost, like complete average, taking them all together, it's $900 a sport. You know, some are a lot more than that.
Right.
Some are significantly less than that. But they're all more than $300.
But at the same time, it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
a bus. It's still officials.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that official is usually one.
It's still the
official.
base. It's still the
time and a half.
baseline of the
Still
sport.
coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's still coach. Yeah.
Okay, so if we finish off on, if we try to finish off on item 1,
Please.
right? So we're looking at transportation,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? And so figuring out, we started talking about like how much do we save if we drop one bus, if we, make some decisions about who's going, who's not going, what you can ask the boosters cover, what you can't. Certainly sticking to like the one non-league scrimmage.
And I mean, I just wanted to add too. We're fortunate. We have Topman.
we are.
We're very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
I thought you said Tom in.
Oh no,
We are
fortunate
fortunate.
to have me too. But that's what no, I was kidding.
Well, they're great
Like,
to work with.
Yeah.
Me and Cheyenne are
Nobody's
like
much.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Great to work with.
and
it's great.
because of the situation with drive, like there's a lot of schools that are. I mean, you know it.
Yes.
They're
We're really lucky.
we're lucky
Yeah.
that we're like
Okay.
we were able to maneuver.
Like
And-
today was a big issue for us because we had a.
Yeah,
We were
I
supposed
was.
to have a middle school track meet, and
Yep.
I had 2 golf matches, and I had field hockey and volleyball, and she's like, "We don't have it,"
We don't have
but
the
at
drivers.
the end of the day, she's like, "I found a driver." I'm like, thank
Well,
you.
they're also fortunate to have us. Look at our
Yeah,
budget.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Correct,
yeah.
they're, yeah.
But I mean, the
Right.
question, the thing with drivers has also kind of pushed us too to
Yes.
limit our busing as much as we can.
We used to. I remember when I started as the assistant in the office, and I used to have 5 bus max or minimum, and maximum, to do, and now I work with 3.
Right.
And if I do
Right.
over 3, it's like a brutal day.
Yeah.
You have to get
Oh,
creative.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we never used to have an elementary run,
Right.
come back and
Right.
do all those type of
Right.
things, and
Right.
it's
So why do we even need transportation?
Is it
I
safety?
think liability,
It's,
it's
yeah.
ensuring everyone can get there. Yeah.
At the same time.
No, I mean, just say we did away with it. I'm not saying that we should,
Yeah.
but I don't remember having buses for everything half the time.
Yeah, but times have changed. Like we can't just do things the way they used to be. Sorry
Well-
to interrupt you, but I don't think it's feasible. I don't think it's feasible at this time to take away transportation.
Have you missed any of your kids' games?
No, but I also don't send them off and I don't, because then they'd be arriving at different times. They'd be, I don't think it's.
I don't want to drill into it. I'm just asking if we.
I think it's primary liability, I would say.
Yeah.
Just making sure the team gets their
I mean,
safety and-
just from the middle school, like we'll take 2 buses and then we'll only take 1 bus back with about 10 kids because all the parents
Because
go and they
parents
take the kids.
Take 'em.
Take 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, is
That's
that?
what
I mean,
I'm asking.
yeah.
So
I mean,
we-
all
so
the
we-
parents are there.
So we do that in swim many times. It's a
Yeah.
one-way trip because
Yeah.
the kids are
Wrestling, we do
getting
that
brought
too,
home by the
it's a
parents.
drop off only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Some
yeah.
of our smaller teams, we certainly do that because
Yeah.
the parents will email us and let us know that they're
Yeah.
taking their son or daughter
What if
home.
they opt into transportation for sports like you do during the school? Then you can plan.
That sounds
better.
like sounds like a bad idea. No.
No, I'm just throwing
Then
it
you
out
have
there.
to police who's getting on the bus and who's not, right? So
We're
then,
gonna bus passes.
yeah,
It does,
Just
it,
kidding.
I
it,
don't know.
I mean, these
Take
are the
one
types
of
of
you,
things
just
we
take the
talk
bus
about.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good, but I come back to it on sort of a liability. I don't like the idea of, I like the safety and security of transporting kids to and from.
Yo,
the
yeah,
pond.
yeah. I mean, I think
Also-
that's a
and it's
definite.
It's also an
Bonding
equity and
experience
access
too,
piece
yeah.
too, like,
Right.
I mean,
Right, yeah, making sure everyone has a ride.
Yeah.
Well, but I think
Yeah.
Rich was suggesting you could opt out of
The
it.
free and reduced, they're gonna get transportation, right, we're not
Yeah.
gonna cut them out,
Right.
but you can
But
better
I don't know if
plan
that
for your
helps us because we're
costs.
still paying for the bus.
Right, no matter
Right.
how many
The
kids are on
bus
the
is-
bus.
so
it's
the
like
bus is
whether
full,
it's
the bus
is 10
15
kids.
or
There's
yeah,
10 people on the
55.
bus
Yeah,
or
you're
if
not
you're
Yeah,
paying
but
by
I'm saying
head.
you opt in, right, you want part of that bus, maybe it's a bus fee rather than a sports fee.
but it would be a sports fee because they're paying for the,
But the bus costs the same whether it's empty or.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even if it's a drop off, it's $4.75.
Well, if you're,
Right.
Well,
if
it's
you're
right.
taking a
Tax fare.
14-person van, that's a different cost than taking a bus.
It's true.
I just wanna have all the data before I look into it more.
Yeah, I think,
I'm not saying my
I
ideas
do-
are good
I do
ideas, but
think-
I wanna look at them.
With numbers going down, I do think we'll see a natural decline in transportation just because, like I said, football roster's already smaller
I do
this
too.
year. So we do that. I think track numbers are gonna be smaller. They're usually a 3 bus to Reggie Lewis in the winter.
that's a lot.
I
It's a lot of
think
money.
it's a lot of money.
But
I think if you do I think one of the things that should come out of this meeting is a real deep dive in transportation, just to
Yeah.
see what we can minimize.
So
Those-
and I agree. So do you want us to break it down by sport as far as like where the buses are going?
I think I would. I think
Okay.
I'd do by sport, like just what you did with
Yeah, I mean-
football. Like
Yeah.
you analyzed football and you looked and you said, even though it's not the greatest thing, it's they fit with 2 in a seat probably.
Yeah, because they have all
The
their
big
stuff
guys,
too.
they got all that stuff. That's
Well,
kind
I
of
mean, this
Probably
is this
equivalent,
isn't
yeah.
pretty, but this is what
no one loves that, but
Right.
it's
that's how
doable.
this was all generated.
So it's like it's trying to create
Directly from the
how
Bills.
many of those can we create
From the
like,
Bills? Yeah.
and to minimize. Then let's just see how that helps with the numbers.
Mhm.
So the ideas that I throw out are just for discussion.
Oh, I know.
By no means do I think they're the right answer, but at least we have
Oh,
the data.
we have to.
Yeah. Then
That's
you
why
can
I
apply
said.
a critical
That's
thought
why I
process.
said cut the freshman teams. I don't want to cut any freshman
Yeah, I
teams, but
know.
is that a viable
Well, the
option?
struggle with that is that we're seeing that a lot of other schools don't have them
We're struggling-
anymore.
we're-
And so
we're struggling
it's
with
like, it's
opponents.
even, it's
That-
almost like
that-
we even say, is it even worth them
I know.
paying $300 because they aren't getting 10 or 20 games on their schedule. They're
Well,
getting
in
10.
in Cohasset, they had
No.
a flexible, in their contract, they had to hit a certain amount of kids
Yeah.
in order to field a freshman
You're
team
right.
in the sports.
Right.
Because, of course, it's a much smaller district, but it
Yeah.
was like, that line.
so
So
like
you- so
no
you-
waiver for 8th graders or anything.
Well, when that's a Cohasset story, but when they became a middle and a high school
Oh,
separately,
okay.
instead of a middle high school, the only way they could get 8th graders was to do waivers. But there was a line in the sand where it was like, we just can't field a team if we don't have, and then it was, people had to try out for the JV team.
Yeah.
So it was,
And we had a similar issue with softball last year. It was kind of like, okay, we have the
They're
numbers.
right on the cusp.
But at the same time, like looking at the league, looking at everything, is like we're not going to even field them a big schedule. So why would we go ahead and just create another team when they aren't
No.
going to get anything that's worth it?
I think to be fiscally responsible, we should look at that. Look at if there are teams that we may not be able to field, and I think it's because of a couple things.
Has-
It's because of
have-
numbers, but it's also because of competition.
Well, I was going to
That's-
say,
that's
yeah,
what's
because
really
the
difficult.
competition's going to start dropping off
Because
too.
our numbers have been
Competition
Like girls
has-
lacrosse, I feel like freshman year you have no game.
We've
like
gone
not
into a
many
lot of
games.
JV 1 and 2,
So-
so
yeah.
then you can roll
Sure.
over, because
Yeah.
the freshmen have been also really skilled in the past couple of
Right,
years for
right.
whatever reason, and so those ones get pulled up, so
Mhm.
instead of cutting those sophomores and juniors, because in a couple of years,
Mhm.
you're gonna be in a really weird spot where you're, cutting all your upperclassmen, so then you have nothing else. We've been doing JV 1 and 2, so then it's kind of like hybrid teams.
And then that is, I mean, if you think about it, that's transportation across the whole season, that's
It
reps
is.
across the whole season,
Yes.
that's
But you're backing
uniforms
out.
for those kids across the whole season, that
Right.
is,
Yeah.
all that, you don't get their fees, but, these are
Their
the,
fee goes away with
So
Cross country never
2
cuts.
games.
what if you have a different model, right? Take hockey, perfect example, right? So instead of, what are we feeling, 3 teams now?
Correct.
I mean,
What if you
check-
take that other team and make it a club team
There's
and
only
put them in a full season?
6
midgets
returning girls
league?
next year.
Right.
Girls cross
Right, so
country.
they're picking up the
Yeah,
entire
that
cost of
cut
that.
down a lot.
But they're still kind of associated with the school, but the school doesn't sponsor it.
Love
It's
this
a-
critical thinking, Rich.
What?
This good critical thinking. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we keep moving off the target. Right, only because I'm watching at 7 o'clock. If I'm here an hour, I'm just getting antsy.
So I think we'll definitely look into transportation
Right,
by
but-
sport.
Drill down.
well,
we can do that.
I guess,
Right.
I guess what we're doing now is identifying the areas that we need to drill down
Focus on.
further.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's useful. Transportation is definitely one of them.
Does the Patriot League schedule? I see it like where, Silver Lake will be playing soccer, they'll be playing field hockey. Like, is there any way to combine the busing with athletics if the schedule worked out?
Well, that's what we can look into. Like,
Yeah.
I think what we try to do.
And I know
here-
that's a bigger conversation.
I do it in the
But the
spring
teams
a
would have
lot.
to be smaller though.
Right,
too.
the
That's
teams
the
would
thing.
have to be smaller.
I do it a lot with, because we're almost like just over
Yeah,
the amounts.
but
Right.
Because even,
do we have to bring that many kids? That's
so like
that's
the
the
other
question.
day I had to shove all 3 girls soccer teams on a bus, and that was 3 to a seat.
Yeah.
And because we didn't have
Yeah,
another bus.
But there's a lot of sports on this list that have a game day roster, and you don't go. That you don't dress, you don't go, you don't So if that was an
I
option
think
to combine
primarily it would
teams,
be football and track that could probably do that.
But
And
track, they'll
They
run.
all run.
They all
Yeah,
run.
they all-
I mean,
yeah,
they'll.
Yeah.
There could be 5 heats.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
participate.
We could just run there.
yeah.
And they, even though they take a lot of buses, they only go.
right, 3 or 4
5
times.
times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So it all
I think
balances
these.
out.
So maybe what we need to do is look at, instead of I think our questions are leading towards, instead of looking at the sport as a whole of 3 or however many teams they are, break it down by looking at the cost of the sub-varsity teams, the varsity teams, where they're going, how many people
correct.
go. Then we can look at that transportation number a little bit differently, and then also we have the information that we need to move
Yep.
forward with tiering or equity to conversations and stuff like that, and that would include like which coaches go with which teams, right? So if that coach's salary, how many teams are there, how many on each team, that helps us with the safety information.
Right. Mine is football. I mean, you're gonna have a freshman coach, JV coach, and varsity coach. Maybe some sports we have a few places where we have a varsity assistant.
Okay.
But I mean,
But there's other
limited
teams that only have one
spots.
coach,
Correct.
right?
Well, if you have 3 levels, there's always 3 coaches.
Okay, you're right. But 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Another idea would be to either save those sub-varsity teams, and maybe transportations. I don't know how much that white bus was, but is that really worth it to maybe get another one of those, and then just ensure okay, that freshman team, certain sports you have to be at 15, right? So then they can take that bus. So you can't have 17. You gotta trim it
Right.
down to 15. So
I mean, that's
you
what golf
can-
does. Not everyone gets to go to the match.
Right.
Right.
They bring who they play, right? And I
Yeah.
think tennis can really do a better job at that, especially girls tennis. But their roster has been so big the past couple of years.
Girls
We're in the
tennis.
25,
Yeah.
and only
Do they all?
7 technically count, right?
Yeah.
But they do play.
Yes.
They just don't
Three,
count.
or five.
Well, you get the 3
And then
singles
the-
and then the 2 doubles.
So
Do the other
5
kids
actually.
play, or they don't?
There's some expeditions, but most of them do not.
Right.
So they go on the bus and sit there and watch 5 kids play, and then get back on the bus and come home.
7, because 2 sets of doubles and then 3
Nice.
singles.
So again, it's these types of things. It's like, what can we cut from transportation? If we if we cut a team, what team would it be and what would it save us? And what's the rationale for doing that?
Right.
The one thing I want to circle back on it, are there options for the kids to still play a sport?
We can look at that. But let's just see if
I know
it.
baseball there is, hockey there is, some sports.
But my feeling is if it doesn't save very much money, it's not even worth going for. Like it would have to be a
Right.
big saver, and then we could do that.
Actually see the impact.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But let's
I
find
just
the.
want that information.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's find the impactful.
So,
I don't want to say it.
so if, you're saying if we cut a program?
Well, for example, just say you cut I don't know how many baseball teams you have, but if you cut
Right.
a baseball team,
Right,
there's plenty of options to play up until you're like 20 years old. Right, they got the fall ball,
Club
they got
teams.
all sorts of independent leagues, and you'd make it a club that'd have to pick up the full expense. Hockey, just say you cut a team. Well, okay, so you put them in a league. I think there's one up in Quincy, right? It's a full season midget league.
yeah.
Right, there's stuff like that. At least it keeps them engaged in the sport. I just want that information.
I know there's at least like soccer, so a lot of times high school age clubs, they don't have a season for
Yeah.
the fall because they know that most of their girls and they want to still give them opportunity to play at the high school level unless they're in that like elite league
Yeah.
where they can't play for their high school, but that's only like the top of the top club players that play in that league. So I don't know if other sports are like that. Like I don't know if a high school
They
age
all
baseball
usually
player
do
can
alternate.
play during a spring season because they know it's high school season.
Right.
So sometimes it can be
No, I get that. I just like
Yeah.
that information before we make that
Right.
decision,
Yep.
if it came to that.
I mean, it seems like, I know we have a robust agenda, but it seems like we need to get answers to these bigger questions before we even
We do.
move in.
We do.
Move on, sorry.
Well, the reason that these three things are on the agenda is because the first two tie together, and
Mhm.
the third one is because we do have to have conversations before negotiations
Right.
about coaches' salaries.
So if we break it down a little more, get a little more
Mhm.
detail
Mhm.
on the transportation, on the, break down the sports, so we can see per team
I
expenditure.
think we look at our freshman teams and our sub-varsity teams, like really freshman teams,
Right.
and
And look
decide
at what the number of games they're playing, where
Correct.
they're going.
the
Okay.
competitions, the
Competition.
amount of kids.
Yep.
Like this is a bad idea thing.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
nobody
So,
wants this.
nobody wants this. And we look at our transportation and really try to tighten it up. The equipment uniform thing has left me kind of wondering if we're getting the best bang for our buck with uniforms too. It's a lot of money on uniforms, and I don't know. I can't speak to the value of the uniform and the cost of the uniform. I don't want to
What
sell.
about Rockland
our
Athletics?
product,
Service?
Well, we use them a lot. But like everything,
we do use
I
them,
mean,
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I know I'm just old. Nothing is made as good as it once was. Our uniforms, 2 years in, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with that?
No, I think you're
No.
totally right.
Kids don't take care of them, and if you want me to wash every uniform, I can do that.
No.
I'm there all night anyway. It doesn't matter.
Right, it just-
But that's all part of
I
it.
do watch
That's
them
why I
after
almost
every
think
We
like
do.
you make the varsity team,
I just, I try to do
like
inventory on them, yeah.
well,
you even if it's crappy after 2 years, it's something you keep. It's your keepsake. You
Right.
buy it.
And it's,
The
it's,
only
it's the
problem
white
with
It's
that is
ownership.
like, but then it does get into the equity piece,
Oh yeah.
right? Because
That's-
you're
yes.
asking some
Well-
Well, it's free and
families
reduced
to-
and all that. And
Can I
I'm
ask
sure
you,
we'd have to. I don't know.
have we?
but not for
can
all
we
the
charge
other
more to
of
get
the
in
other
this?
costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I asked a crazy question. Can we charge more to get into games, and would that help us?
We only charge for so many.
I know.
Oh, did you ask Joni about that?
No.
I wish we could get more of the
Where'd she
hockey
go? She went to
Whitman
Hanson. They were charging for field hockey.
$8.
Yeah, well, women
So,
Hanson
no,
also
listen. I'm
charge for
not.
soccer.
I'm just thinking.
Regular league
We're
soccer
we're
games,
talking
they
market
charge
for
They
fees.
charge for everything.
Do we want? I mean, if we talk,
So I think we
what's
would-
the what's the market for gate receipts?
Yeah, in some
And
ways.
where
that
are we?
it's-
I think, yeah,
I just feel
Women
bad
Hanson
'cause
is
we're
going,
Charging
And,
the same
you know, they
families.
charge for every single sport.
Right.
Yeah,
For
so-
us, like, you know, something like field hockey, where it is at the community turf, one, it's hard to manage, right, because it's an open facility. So it's like, how do you pay for
Yeah.
that? But also,
I mean,
you're
it's
charging
fine
their
then.
parents.
There's the parents.
Yeah, I know.
The
It's
The
parents
parents
anyway.
already paid the
Yeah.
athletic fee, now
Yeah.
you're
And
charging
then the
them a
charge
fee to
that
see
comes
their,
in.
yeah.
And it's the same thing
yeah,
as like
I
our
get
girls'
it.
sports.
Sorry about that.
When I teach a basketball game, we charge.
We
But
do.
We don't
For
get many
girls'
people in
basketball, we charge
there.
just because it's easy to charge at
But
basketball.
you
Yeah,
get such a
it's-
crowd.
it's
really-
Let's reach out to
Not
Pat
girls'
first, see if he can
sports,
do something for us.
Reach out to,
Pat first over at FMC.
yeah,
I'd be interested in seeing that custodial
Sharp
line
pencil.
too,
I think that's a big one.
and where.
That's mainly it's
You had a dad as a
stadium.
teacher, right?
That's just the
But-
stadium and then and the gyms.
So
So
it's
I don't like I don't know, I don't have any like suggestions on how we can fill that custodial line. But if it's coming from athletics, if there's another place we can find money for that custodial line, that could be something that brings us down too. I have a feeling it's kind of substantial.
I'm sorry, the custodial
The
lines?
custodial line that comes out of the athletics budget.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, look, we have to pay the custodians, I'm just saying, does it,
Well,
does it have to
that's-
come out of the athletic
That's part of the
budget?
discussion that I think we need to have in general, and it's part that the email that went out about the clubs and
Clubs,
activities.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It's also thinking we need to think differently, like on scheduling
Are we
and all that.
consolidating things, like you
Like,
can have your meetings
Yeah.
during this
Football,
time?
football being in there 8 hours on a Sunday.
Alright, so we have
Like,
three
that's-
main
that's-
areas.
That's money. That's coming from-
We have
that's
three
coming
main
from you.
areas we've
That's youth.
No, that's youth on Sundays.
Sunday's not us.
Watching film and
That's Saturday.
That's
Yeah,
8
they-
to 10, but then JV and freshmen are usually playing.
They're usually playing.
Okay, but we have three areas now we can really look at. We can look at transportation,
Yeah.
we can look at teams,
Yep.
and we can look at custodian. We should get an amount that comes out of our athletic budget for custodian.
I got
so
it.
we
I'll have
know
it.
what
Where
we're
would I
doing.
get
I'll have
that?
it in about 30 seconds.
And then
Oh, okay.
and then that would be that's a source search. Like, is there a place we can get that? Like, I don't want to overstate. Like, I don't have any idea what boosters pays for, other than I know they pay for some coaches' salaries. But like, is that something they could potentially pay? I don't know. Like, I'm wondering what their,
I think there'd be a lot of conversation.
without charging them more,
Yes.
can they move money over?
I think there might be room for conversation of, here's what we're looking at. We may not be able to cover this many buses, or like the hockey thing is a perfect example. We can't cover JV ice. Okay, the Boosters has a golf tournament and they cover it. So maybe there's gonna, in the future, there's conversations about we don't, we're gonna put uniforms on a 5-year cycle. Or
We
you're
can't
gonna
cover a
get
freshman
we
team.
can't cover a freshman team.
We can't cover the
Yeah.
custodial costs for this.
So the last 2 years, custodial 32,000 and then 36,000. It's
So-
legit.
Coming from athletics
Athletics,
budget.
yeah.
So that's not a small number,
That's 70,000.
right? So like those are three areas I think we could dive into.
And it's just, I mean, it's just
transportation, teams,
kind
custodial,
of-
Look at like Sunday practices. No.
and come up with a proposal. And then what it becomes is, we save that money, and then if we can fill it in with another source, that's fabulous,
Right.
without raising fees.
Right. What about equipment? Is there room there?
Let's look at equipment, uniforms, all that stuff. I think we should consider both of those.
Equipment makes sense. I just don't.
We can roll something out
Some of
later
the
on.
equipment numbers. What's the total equipment number?
But equipment numbers, it's just what we're
It
just
kinda
gonna
goes-
buy.
I mean, it's almost all-
It does.
It's almost all.
It's a very
Come-
year.
I mean, I guess Lauren, there's two ways you can
Football.
save with
Yeah.
equipment. Equipment, you
It
could
is.
buy a cheaper product. You could have parents pay for more, but we don't want, the whole idea is to not have parents pay for more out of pocket.
I know.
And the third one would be, we adjust the cycles. So for
That's bad.
instance, like maybe we move to a 6-year cycle.
Almost half.
Like,
Yeah, almost half is
Yeah,
just
they just
basically
don't make
football.
them.
Huh?
I know, I don't know.
It's the white ones. It's not the dark jerseys. The away jerseys are.
But those are the ways I
Maybe
could
we
think
turn
about
them
saving
Yep.
money.
I did that in
That's
volleyball.
right.
Dark green, yeah.
I
So
did
like,
that in volleyball, but
If you
a lot of times.
if you extend the cycle and you take out 1 year in a cycle, you save, it's like a good amount of money.
We can, because we have been really,
we're aggressive. So
we were very aggressive
the
with
uniform
uniforms.
is-
I do think that's gonna scale
it's
back.
gonna go
So,
back
but
down a lot.
but think about it. If you said we're not buying uniforms this year, so you have uniforms. You have the older
Right.
uniforms. We're just not buying uniforms this year. How much would that save? It would save, according to this,
So we try to do like.
It's gonna-
five
like
programs.
$60,000.
Yeah, it's gonna save you 50,000 anyways.
So like that. I mean,
For 1
I
year.
guess.
Well, mostly because football.
And then
No,
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but,
yeah,
but think
yeah.
of it from this way.
It's
Do
not
parents,
always 50
Nah.
years.
rather than have parents pay extra money, they just have
It's still like
a
45,000.
a uniform that is
8,000,
1 year
5
older. Like there's some logic to
Right,
that.
right, yes.
So
And what we did see, I think just from my own stuff, is when there was a pushback or a pullback, the boosters or
boosters
parents
pitched in.
Yeah.
pitch in.
Because a lot of times they want those new uniforms.
Yeah.
And they will say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the girl
And they
JV
have.
shorts were in terrible condition.
Yep.
The boosters were like, we got it,
Right.
and, but
Yeah.
they do
Yeah.
donate it
Yes.
to the school.
Yes,
It's not.
It's still owned by us.
Yeah.
Technically.
So
So that's
if the
so
parents-
that's another area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So
but
we,
you know, all of this stuff is going to end up in some sort of equity conversation at some point too.
well,
because-
that's our next conversation.
Yes, because smaller teams don't have robust booster programs. You know, some teams have more established booster programs. So, you know, because those teams have a more established booster program, are we expecting them to pay more versus, you know, it's tricky.
And again, it's great, and Mr. Greer and I can speak to this, there's not a bus trip that I see now, that there's not pizza, sandwiches, which is
Oh,
great,
yeah.
but I just, and we're not going very far. I mean, I just
Yeah,
don't, I don't,
there's boosters.
Yeah.
Some of the boosters
but I can't
do
tell
a
them,
lot of above and
I
beyond
can't
stuff.
tell them how to spend their money, nor would I ever do that, you know what I
Right, but
mean?
if given the option,
Given, right,
you know, do you want
Pizzas,
to?
uniforms, yeah.
I mean, of all the choices that we put on the table, the one I like least is the cutting of the freshman
Yeah.
teams.
yes,
I don't like that at all. But if we can't get, if we're really struggling to get competition, that might be an option.
so that's something we can look at, I'll break down how many freshman
Yeah.
softball games, or not softball,
Yeah.
but baseball games, boys and girls basketball that we play.
Because you kill your program.
Some sports
You-
are great,
you
like
gotta
develop
volleyball
kids.
guys,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
all
don't
of
have a
them.
good feeder.
But I
Right.
think,
But boys soccer has like,
but I do
Boys,
think
boys,
that,
boys basketball gets all of them.
right, yeah.
but I do think transportation,
Goes back forward.
custodial, and equipment
Right.
are the three areas.
We'll look
And
at what Lauren said too.
what did you say, Lauren?
A lot of good things. Pick one. Which one did I say that you liked?
Oh, no, I wasn't listening. No, I think we should, all the big numbers, like including rentals, right? For example, Bill just told me that. I pay $260 an hour at 7 o'clock. You know,
They like
Oh, for
they
hockey.
like the time
for
that
hockey,
they
and
have.
we're getting charged for something for a school. And I know the group that owns those rinks.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yes.
know,
Does it still work that you buy the ice as a package? So like if you want the 2 o'clock time, that includes these times, or are you paying for each hour separately?
I just have to step off 1 second.
So usually with
Awkwardly moved by the camera here.
The bar, the rinks that Rich is referring to is they'll have a 4 hours time slot for ice.
Yeah.
And so at the bog, it's Marshfield, Duxbury, Norwell. Who else is down? There's a 14 down there with us.
Well, let me ask my question more specifically. Like, can you have 2 3 o'clock practices and 2 6 a.m. practices, or do you have to buy the whole year as a chunk?
We buy a chunk of ice, but that chunk of ice can be, like you said, at 6 a.m. because we do have at least one early morning practice. Well, actually, we have 2 that our teams will take.
Just like swimming.
It's like
swimming
piecemeal,
has.
so
Yeah.
it's whatever works for their schedule.
we
Who's
take a
schedule?
5 o'clock hour.
I know we
Like
did.
Dan does it primarily,
Yeah.
so he'll go through his schedule, find the games, because you're also paying for the game ice too.
We are, yeah.
And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
you have the game ice, and then you kind of work with your schedule as far as like what practice times, how many pieces of
Okay,
ice
so
can I
you-
have, and then he schedules his teams in whatever way that works.
Okay.
But it's basically, like I said, all those schools sitting down at the table with Scott Romer.
Right.
Scott
Yeah.
will run it by us as the athletic director to say, okay, this is what we have for your first schools. This is what Coach Conley wants.
But to Rich's point, different hours of ice are different amounts of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the schools programs say too.
yeah,
And,
different rinks. I
and
mean,
different, like Plymouth rink is cheaper than Bog.
yeah.
It is, because Plymouth is independently owned.
So,
What's FMC runs it?
Yeah, but so like the Bog, Rockland,
So is there room there or no?
Hardlock
Is there
is
room
all-
to adjust that?
Potentially.
Potentially, we
Call
could
Pat first.
can certainly look, yeah, I'll call Pat, I didn't realize he was doing that.
Yeah, he's a VP over there, he does all the scheduling for
Okay.
us.
I know like they started using the small ice instead of the big ice. I'm imagining that was less money.
It is,
It is.
oh yeah, it definitely is. The small
Or if
sheet
the
ice.
numbers are good. I don't think their numbers
Then
good.
of course we built Tom Grellen built a locker room
Locker
down
room.
there.
Well,
So the other
kids-
thing that bothers
kids-
me, you're saying you're paying for ice for a game, and then the rink keeps all of the receipts for
They give
that.
us a little off, I think,
They
we
do.
saw at the end.
Between $4,000 and $5,000.
Because I've seen some rinks, not the ones that, Cashman's involved in,
Right.
but the other ones, they'll, they charge you for the ice, and then once you break even, you get to keep the rest of it.
So at Hublock, we used to supply all the gate workers and everything.
No, that was just when
One year.
Phil sold it at the
Oh.
very end.
That's back when Freddie was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was at least 1 or 2 years, right?
No, it's just at the end when he sold to the current group.
But they're letting other teams do that.
Collect money?
Yeah,
Where?
at Hardmock.
I brought the cash box. a
Yeah, we
few
did.
times.
Last
Yeah.
season, like when our teams were leaving, teams were setting up to collect money
At
Boy, I
the
don't think
box.
so.
at Hardmock.
Oh, at Houghton. Maybe at Houghton.
Also
No,
at
'cause they're the same owners of Bond.
the same, yeah, also at the Rockland rink on Summer Street.
That the schools themselves were collecting?
Yep, like we had to pay to watch our JV kids play
Summer
with
Street was
Hanson.
at FMC.
And it was parents, because actually my husband said, why is this so much money, who's getting this money, and they said, it's, we don't, we're parents, we're volunteers,
But that's an FMC rink.
Geez, I don't know.
Sonia, what
I can look, yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
old Rockland rink.
It is.
Yeah, Summer Street.
So maybe what we do next step is maybe the 5 of us meet, not as a just meet operationally, and look at those drivers, transportation,
Yep.
Actually, that may not be FMC.
transportation,
It's not us.
No, that's owned
uniforms,
by the Bond people.
Yeah, FMC.
teams, and Tom, you and I can do some thinking about custodians, and that might be more you looking at the budget and deciding like where.
Well, no, I think the savings in custodians is how we're managing that building to a certain extent.
Okay, we can talk about those.
Because I think it's more.
So those 4 things. So in order to do, and then we
Yeah.
get this group together again, and we sort of run some proposals by the 2 of you.
Okay, how much time do you need to do
So I don't know that we need
it?
all.
I don't like to do 16 emails about when we meet again, I'd rather.
Well, I think we should set a meeting date.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
For
do.
the
subcommittee.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we need. It's more just there's so much going on outside of it.
Sure.
It's just getting your minds around. I think what we need is we need the actual amount of buses we would be used for each team, right?
For each team, for each program.
team, yeah.
Yep.
And some ideas on what can we really consolidate legitimately. Like obviously we consolidated the football team buses. It made for a less comfortable situation, but still a tenable one. So that's what we want to try to create is a tenable situation with. And then look at your uniforms, and I don't know. I kind of like the proposal of like kicking it out one more year, extending the life of the uniform.
For a 5-year cycle.
What would that look like, right?
Look at a couple
It's
options
doable
on
in
that.
most of them, yeah.
It is.
And
then if
then
the boosters program has a problem with that, then
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
can you look, Tom, and really like boil down the custodial costs to get a sense for what we really paid them for, and then we can talk about.
It's. I don't think we have that. That's why it wasn't done here. is
Okay,
We
can we
looked
figure
at
that
it,
out?
and it's just kind of. I mean,
I'll develop a new cycle.
Is it-
So we'll have
Are we thinking
So,
like,
5
do you
years.
I mean,
set hours
I know for like a
everybody?
football
It's your
game,
scheduling
there's
software, right?
4 or 5 guys on.
What is it?
But I-
Above
you know,
referees,
there's a lot
it's
going on.
scheduling software.
Okay.
Referees. Arbiter.
I
Well,
don't know
maybe-
what's.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's.
having
what's
a
there.
conversation with whoever is
That's where I would-
scheduling those to
that's
see
what
if
I
there's,
would-
is there.
Yeah.
Well, is there another funding source?
For custodial?
Yeah.
And then
I mean, it would be operating budget. It's either it's one
Huddle.
and a half dozen the other.
Yeah,
Go huddling.
that's the
All right. So
huddle cameras. That's
maybe it's those 3
which is
areas then. It's uniforms,
basketball,
teams,
soccer,
and transportation.
Well, no, I think there is a question about custodian and like how do we really need to be spending $36,000
Do we really-
on our own people to be doing what they're doing? I mean,
Is it a lot of after hours stuff? Is
Yeah.
it, how much of that has to be
Okay.
happening, right? Is that the question?
that's kind
Could
of
we
yeah.
break
That's
it
how
down
do we
like
put-
per
We have
season
to
so we
drop
can
it
kind of
from
figure out like where we can look at the
That does it
schedule
all.
and kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, I
stuff?
could-
So is it like
Well, yeah, we
fall
can do. I
is
mean,
All right,
majority
so
of the money or winter,
Tom,
so that
fall
we
is
can
basically
do it.
football, and
And then
then
winter's
winter's
sports
basically basketball.
So Tom, you can do custodians
Yeah.
and just look at where the money, where the season by season, where the custodial money is being spent.
Yeah.
And then Lauren and Billy can try to get the transportation situation, and maybe just even come to the meeting that we have. Maybe kind of thought partner with Amy and just think of like, if we did this is like tenable. We can cut some things down, and then really think about the uniforms. If there's any hidden savings out there.
Maybe uniform / equipment.
Equipment, same thing.
Right.
And would extending in a year what would that really do? And like, I'm not. This is not a question for you right now. It's like just think about.
I know it. I know this probably isn't possible, but like, what we've gotten down to Chromebooks now is a kid gets a Chromebook in 2nd grade, they get a new Chromebook in 6th grade, they get a new Chromebook in 9th grade. Like, if they're going into a sport in 9th grade, here's your uniform. But I know there's varsity.
Well, you're gonna grow.
And all that, and they're gonna grow, but they grow. That's
Or
what I
it's
do with
like
Furnace
my
Brook.
kids are going to be down to their ankles because
Yeah,
everyone
well, no,
gets one
Furnace Brook,
size.
like Furnace Brook, they get them in 6. You know, everybody
mean,
buys a
technically,
uniform for
a
12. They buy a shirt for $12.
No,
That's
I mean,
not
there's a fine line.
It's
There's
not
there's a
contact.
fine line where it's not tenable. But I wonder if a 5-year cycle.
Yeah,
But if you
might
grow,
say
you gotta
it's
get
some
What I
another
money.
can do is just
I
because
agree.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like doing anything too crazy. I'm just saying like, would it save us a bunch of money to
Right.
extend the life of the uniform one more year?
Or do,
And would people really even care about that?
or do we do one less thing even? Like maybe you don't get the pants or the shorts or the
There you
socks or the.
That's that type of
Well,
thing.
that's what, like, baseball,
We've
we
done-
got one pair of
yeah.
pants. Softball, we only got one pair of pants and 2 jerseys, you know. So we have done that in the past, and obviously we'll look at it. I think it'll make a big difference, too. What I can do is, because we have been really aggressive, obviously take the teams and put them in their rotation, so that we
Yeah.
can kind of see for the next whatever years.
Yeah, the last
how
2 years.
many
The last 2
uniforms-
years have been high years.
It has
like
been.
that's
Because we've been at like 6, 7, whatever, and
Yeah.
they were bad to the point of like now we're
Right.
looking at sub varsities, and that's why the boosters have stepped in to get sub varsity uniforms because
yeah,
they were
this
so
is
bad.
This is all 23.
Well, and maybe it does. Maybe the sub-varsity uniforms are older.
Well, yeah, by the
Oh,
time
they
they
are definitely older,
graduate, they're 12 plus years
So
old.
those,
Yes.
those numbers we're seeing up there aren't real
They're a lot of
because you
sweat.
have these off cycle from each other.
Okay, so
So they used to. So that's what I'm gonna do is take them and then put them in an off cycle because some will last better than others.
just to get tasks again. Tom custodial. Lauren, Billy, and thought partnering with Amy on
Uniforms and
uniforms and transportation.
Yep.
Anything else? I
and,
think
And
the
teams.
yeah sub-varsity.
And
Oh,
teams.
sub-varsity
Yeah,
teams,
breaking
right.
things down more
and
by
teams.
team versus
those 2
sport.
things, and then we'll have a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get a proposal ready for the 2 of you.
Mm-hmm.
to think about, to vote on, to bring forward, and then it becomes, you know, that's what we're trying to reduce at least 70,000. Sounds like maybe a little more.
Get a real number, that's item number 1.
It is item number 1. I thought it was 170,000. It's 70,000.
Yeah.
Okay. We were 170,000 in deficit, but we have 100,000 allocated.
Yeah.
So it's 70,000. That's much more tenable.
That's a little better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It would eliminate like
More than half.
superintendent.
sounds better.
Yeah, hey, listen, keep having these meetings, maybe we will. Only kidding, only kidding.
Did we want to add in the rental stuff?
So yeah, I think, can you look at the rental stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, we certainly can. When we look at rentals, it really boils down to hockey. I mean, it's the ice. I mean, that's our biggest.
It's 50K right there.
It is. It's north of that.
So see if they can sharpen the pencil, which maybe
Yeah, like when I was looking down the breakdown of expenses, and I'm pretty sure gymnastics was up there, 7,000 a year. It's tough to penalize like 15 girls on a gymnastics team because we didn't build anything in our building, yet we built
Okay.
But
eight,
also,
eight
you-
basketball courts.
And they have like 3 days for that.
So
amount.
our gymnastics teams have been road warriors for 3 years.
Yeah,
They
they've
don't
been
have a home place. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next,
They do
so
travel.
let's set some, I don't think we can go any further with the agenda right now.
Okay.
The other 2 items are too, but I think we probably needed to have this meeting to get everything on the table a little bit. And now we're gonna come back with specifics. So, let's pick a meeting date for,
just one more thing. Do we need to add anything about the coaches stuff because we do have to probably get more into that. in
so
the
let's
next
put that on
meeting.
the next agenda.
Okay, so but we don't need any more information. Do we need to talk about what information we need to be able to cover that
I mean,
on
do
the
we
next agenda?
Well, we need to have the coaches' salaries,
the
amount of
salaries and the
coaches.
contracts are there, so and
Okay,
I don't
so-
know if it's anything more than that.
So we already have it. Okay.
And just kind of the history is we've gotten closer. In the last contract we did a few things to make the salary schedule look a little.
Okay.
Lorna, when's the next school committee meeting?
October 7th.
Oh, it is? Okay, October 7th. So, I think this team should meet. It would be lovely to meet next week, if we can meet next week, is it possible? Not the subcommittee, the, five of us.
The breakdown committee.
Breakdown, I like the breakdance committee.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanna look at, right, so it's not like we're capitalizing the project budget, right? So why do we have staff included in here, not as just pure overhead?
Well,
Because if we're taking that approach, then we should factor in everybody's salary in this room that's associated with sports.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's,
we're not.
that,
And that'd also be the athletic trainer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she-
I mean,
she
that-
is out of here. I think
that's not in here too, but I mean, it very easily could add a line in. And just and allocate it by. I mean, I did allocate by the number of athletes for a few of these things.
Yeah, but
like our Patriot League dues. Like I just
They went up.
I
this
just
year.
broke it by how many athletes, like
To
divided out
10,000.
percentage wise.
Ooh, really?
Well, what if we did this? What if we
Yeah.
stuck with Wednesdays? So we did
First.
October 1st. Oh no, I can't do October 1st Wednesday. I can't do that in the afternoon. We did October 2nd.
Well, our meeting doesn't have to be. It can be any time, right?
We can't, but we should set a meeting for us to get all the data together, and then set a meeting for the subcommittee. So
So it doesn't have to be in the afternoon if what you're saying.
for you, but
Yeah, afternoons.
the breakout
It's gonna work.
committee, can we do October 2nd?
Mm-hmm.
That's Thursday. What's a good time for us to do that at?
I have a learning walk at 9:30 at SRS, so after that's done.
Okay. Do you want to do like 1?
Yeah,
Can we do 1 o'clock? Let me write that down.
I can send out a calendar invite.
Can you
wanna
do that?
Call, yeah, do you want to call athletics committee subcommittee?
No, just call it athletics discussion,
Okay,
and it will be the 5 of us.
okay.
Okay. Then the subcommittee meeting. I mean, we're not going to get it in before October 7th anyway, but we can stick with that week. We can. How about October 8th? The same time. Yeah, I mean, you have a unified basketball thing from 3:30 to 4:30. The 6 o'clock, is that what you need?
Yeah, I'm coming
From
from
work.
Watford.
Yeah. Can we do that
I'll be in. I have another middle school meet, but it's Hanover, so I should be back by 6.
okay.
I'll come in.
So we'll do 6 o'clock on October 8th?
So take everybody-
As long as everybody picks their kids up.
That's a Wednesday.
They're middle
That
schoolers,
never
right?
happens.
Can't they just walk away?
What's that?
Middle schoolers can just walk away.
Yeah.
No one has to wait for them.
I could also do October 9th.
I can do the 8th.
The 8th?
I just have a hard stop at
Good
8:30.
luck.
That's fine, although we'll be done
We
before.
play
Oh,
hockey. at
That's
9:30.
what you need,
Every
no.
Wednesday.
We'll
Time to
see if we can
start
get the fees down as you're there.
Okay, so the
I get
agenda
mine
for
down to
that.
260.
So the 9th.
The agenda for that will be, it'll be a recommendation from
We're gonna miss the-
From,
Come up like that.
the district
If they're both not gonna be ready.
regarding, we can word it, Lauren,
Okay.
but regarding reduction areas.
So the 8th is senior night for our field hockey team. We have them in the stadium.
The 8th?
Yeah, any chance we could do the
They're gonna
9th?
be.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that, I can do the 9th,
It's a Thursday.
yeah.
Mhm. I'll be more in time to make a time with
Yeah, I'm good.
6 o'clock?
Thank you.
6
Just
o'clock on the
like
9th,
to be there
great.
for the.
So Amy, you're doing the invite for the other one.
I did.
I'll have Joni-
I hit location and now it just says location. It's just so I have to
Are
read
you
it.
available
Hold
on
on.
the night?
I'll have Joni
On
do
the
this
9th,
invite, because she's gotta post it and everything.
Who's
Ten-
doing minutes for this meeting?
10-9.
Yeah.
I got one note.
Yeah, I can do the 9.
About halfway, I was like,
I can do this. Sorry.
Any thoughts on minutes for this meeting? It could be just a few paragraphs.
Paris?
What's that?
Paris?
I mean,
Yeah,
just like,
I can whip it up.
3 to 5 sentences of the subject predicate, use parts of speech.
Went to a lot of different
Thank you.
places.
okay, so once again, the 9th at 6 o'clock, and the first agenda item will be something about athletic expenditure athletic reduction recommendations.
Mhm.
And the preparation will be that the the district team will
Yeah.
meet, and we'll have prepared some recommendations for potential reductions
Mhm.
for the
And
subcommittee.
you'll have all the
Okay.
backup information, and we can make changes here.
For those areas that we just talked about, for nothing more though, because
Yeah, I wanna
we
list
gotta
those
keep it
again.
limited, right?
Tom, can you put that
Oh, sorry, what's that?
spreadsheet up there? I just wanna make sure we have all the ones.
Which what
Well-
this?
Yeah,
What we identified is custodial,
Custodial,
yeah.
transportation,
transportation,
sub-varsity teams,
sub-varsity teams,
rentals.
and equipment.
I thought
Uniform
coach-
slash
Oh,
equipment.
Equipment slash,
Coaches were part of that
equipment
too.
slash,
What is this on the calendar?
Equipment.
uniforms.
So we already have the coaches information.
And the goal is, at least a $70,000 reduction,
Yeah,
and
we'll look
then
at
we'll
coaches
recommend
also.
that. What's that?
Wanna look at coaches. also.
Not yet. I'm sorry, I don't think we do yet. I
So,
think
so is that on the agenda for the next meeting though?
Oh, for the, yes, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we wanna do it now.
No, were you saying about, because we're gonna look at reductions, you don't want us looking at reductions for coaches, you wanna look at,
We have the data.
I don't wanna rule anything out, I want the data. Yeah, I mean, just,
so that's a separate agenda item that we'll talk about around we have it.
so
for
I'll
coaching
pick again
salaries.
on football, right? So rulebook says what, 6 guys on the field at a time, right, for coaching? Something like that? Right, so
Yep.
I'm sure they all show up for the varsity game, right?
There's 20
Yes.
guys on the side.
Yeah,
That's the ball game.
yeah.
So we'll have
There's
that,
no way you
Bad
can
luck.
miss
Bad luck.
They can only have 6 coaches, I believe, in football.
it. Who are the people?
I don't know. They didn't check in with me before they went, but
We,
So I think
we
we-
have a
No,
position coach for
As-
linebackers, to safeties, to tight ends, to receivers.
yeah.
I mean,
But there's an MIA rule, you can only
there
have
is
6.
not.
So I think
No,
that
I think federation rule, you can
cut
only
would
have
be
six
with the
six
freshmen and the
coaches.
sub-varsity.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
people,
But
coaches.
yeah.
Right, we do
There
that.
you go.
yeah, that's enough.
Oh,
Are we gonna meet here for the 8th?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Or
We
do you wanna
should,
meet-
I
What
think
about
we,
the
Or do
second?
you wanna meet in?
mm,
Do we-
why don't we
need a
just
bigger
meet here,
space to
is it okay for you guys to come here in a
We
second?
only need 6, or
We'll just meet here both places.
The
Okay.
bump for somebody.
Can you put Joni in on that invite?
I
too?
did.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
did it for both.
Not that I
I
wanted
did.
it.
No, no,
Did you
no.
do it for the 8th too, for the subcommittee?
Sometimes, like you and I.
No.
I'm
The
sure
sub of the
that you-
subcommittee?
No, 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 no,
The
no.
second? No, I'm doing the 8th right now.
Okay, and I'll ask
The
Joni
8th,
for
that's,
that.
No,
is
no,
it
no.
6 to 7, 6 to 7:30?
So
Not
that
the
answers my
8th.
question,
switched
so
it.
that's what I was
Oh,
asking.
yeah.
So you'd have to
Okay,
meet with
change
5
it.
guys.
I haven't sent it yet. Fine.
Yeah,
So Amy,
six-
No, but instead of 6.
What did you have for the
Yeah.
sub of the sub?
Yeah,
The sub of the sub, I have a
I mean,
second.
it's not a huge savings.
At 1,
right.
I sent you an invite.
And if you can do this whole group for the subcommittee on the 9th.
I did.
And the
Awesome.
other
I'm
thing
gonna
is
send you
that
the invite.
chairman
I was just
can
putting in the
ask for
location.
I mean, you should have a certain amount of coaches there, because you don't want, I
Well,
don't know how
we
many
did it.
girls are in.
So the
you
second
don't want one
item on
coach
the
coaching
agenda
40
for the
kids.
9th
No,
should be
we
the
have
The
coaching
coaching
salaries.
salaries, right, so we're just gonna bump
And
that up,
that's
we're
it.
taking off the athletic team.
Yeah, because right now the tiering isn't even an issue, we're trying to work
Right.
around the tiering.
Correct.
For gymnastics, we
Right.
have 2 paid
Correct.
positions.
And then this will be,
Part of it.
if we create some cut areas
Not today.
or
Well,
some
it's-
trimming areas,
Well, that's what
we'll
I'm
bring
saying,
that
maybe
to the
next one
school
there.
committee
Yeah, well, it could.
to get their thoughts on it.
So we wanna
Yeah,
look
we've
at that.
had 2 independents now. Numbers are
Okay.
coming down.
Do you have a
This is
sub
quite fast.
committee of sub?
We're down to
Does that, you
So we
thought
wanna look
it
at
would be
now.
posted,
No,
doesn't it? We're
that's
working
just, that's
on
just, that's
We're not here.
operational.
Which would be double,
Okay.
right?
All right, okay.
Ish.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's true.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It goes
That's
private.
us that makes it.